What's good? You rocking with your boy CzarrARR Reserve. You know the information in the description. Support the channel. Hit the Cash App, $ capital T H E capital C Z A R R. Go down, support the GoFundMe channel. Also, slide in there to PayPal. It's open and ready for you. Show respect to the foundation I'm building, Commenter Nation, that's going to give back to commenters like never before. And I promise that. That's what I stand on. That is the one thing I stand on because of what I know I'm doing for myself. It's not just YouTube. I have other business things I'm working on behind the scenes that will work its way into this format. Everything's built from a foundation and research from years of me watching other people that are prominent in the device of YouTube and many other associations, also building myself up. So now let's get into it. Now, I know Daylyt. I know who that is. Not personally. I've watched all of his battles from start to finish. Yes, I've been a very avid person in the battle rap culture as far as watching and supporting. And you can say my name. If they know who I am, then they can co-sign that. Because I've always been there giving comments. I mean, it was like months and months ago, I even did a video about Murder Mook and the comments he made to TheCzarr, who I consider to be the #1 battler right now. Regardless of what everybody else is saying, it's who I consider. It's my viewpoint. Now, with that being the case, let's talk about it for real. Let's get into it, okay? Now, I watched this VladTV interview. I've seen it a few times. I rewatched it again recently because I'm not just going to get up here and say things. Doesn't he sound very synonymous to a lot of the workings and ideology we spit before about there being predisposed knowledge of this occurring to him? Didn't he set things up very well to the critical thinking that we've been doing on this channel? Now, I didn't watch it and produce any content off of it. I heard what he was saying. You know, he knew, said, you know what I mean? He said he felt he knew. Now, that would have been easy to kind of build a profile of thought around the fact that we heard him speaking very loosely about his life and in his songs and predicting certain things. But I'm not even going to get into the associations that I know Daylyt has music-wise, because that, I feel, will take us away from what the true factor that needs to be spoken about in this situation is. It's that 4 men are standing trial for having done this to him, but did they really do it? That's what the question is. Now, one thing he said that I'm in agreement with, that we have many videos on. Did he get shot? I didn't see no wound. He even agreed as being someone in an environment where violence is prevalent. Like, I mean, gang banging, all of that. And he did not see a scene of any remnants of having to be a situation that involves some type of shooting or killing. That's what I'm saying. It's just, if anything, his video co-signed everything that we talked about to date. And that's what's most important. But what I want to also add in is that he also co-signs a lot of Commenter Nation, a lot of different things that you guys sent to me that I've learned from. So I didn't see a scene either. Usually we'd see a lot of holes all in a car, all in a surface, if we're going to predict that violence was the main cause of this man's death. And that's part of it. Look, even if it was close range, we would have seen it. People were saying, oh, there's a little bit of blood on the back. There was no blood. Cut it out. Cut it out. Whoever's still saying that stuff, cut it out. Because if it was, you wouldn't even need to debate that there was. Do you get me? When there's guns involved, you don't need to debate whether someone's bleeding. Do you understand that? Is that something so hard to get? And I could tell people still saying that stuff is not really understanding how violence works, or not, let's say, educated on gun violence and how it affects lives. You bleed immediately. It doesn't matter what gun you get hit with. You're not going to not bleed. Now, one thing he did say that I think is, this is why I decided to mention this. He said it looked like he was drugged and overdosed. That's what he said. And yes, that it looks like he was overdosed. That was a very prevalent situation. Or I'm going to even add on to that. Like Theo Kalidoze has been telling me he wanted to do, shout to the UK, wanted to say for a while. It looked like tranquilizer gun. It looked like he was just out of it. Now, would he bleed if he was shot with that? I don't know. I'm not aware of that. I don't know how that works. That'd be something Commenter Nation educates me on. If you get hit with a tranquilizer gun, do you bleed or not? But to say a 22 was used, I don't see it. Because these are weapons of war. All weapons are weapons of war. Everybody says, oh no, this weapons. No. Guns are weapons of war. You do not get hit with guns and not bleed. That's just it. Unless you're some type of robotoid or some type of cyborg and you don't bleed. You may get hit in a certain area and you leak liquid. That's not blood, but at the end of the day, there would be liquid visible. That's my thing. And that's why I think he's in agreement. If anything, what you guys show me cosigns everything we've been discussing at a higher level. Because this is just a very, let's say, sketchy scene of events to even build to a situation that this discussion would be needed to be discussed. It's not something normal. None of it's normal. It's not a normal crime scene. It's not a normal occurrence of violence. It's not a normal investigation. Nothing's normal about it. So what did I say when something like this happens? What is normal? A setup of some sort. Now, did I say who set it up? No, we discussed many factors about who. Did I say how it was set it up? No, we talked about many ways it could have been set up. Did I tell you who exactly was involved? No, I never did that. But what I can tell you, and I'm telling you this today, regardless of the who, the how, the what, when funny business is done, there is a motive, and it's a higher motive of some sort. Someone benefited from this occurrence. So the only things that I'm going to ask you today are these simple questions about this instance. Who benefited the most from Tentacion being gone? Who profited the most off of Tentacion being gone? Whose business motives, corporate motives, made the most sense with him out of the picture? That is how you begin to build a census of a larger motive above a plot, and you start to realize that there's not a mastermind, it's masterminds. Whoever benefited the most may have been the mastermind to set up the plan, but whoever's around it, profiting the most, gaining the most, seeming to have won off of this instance in a business sense, are the group of masterminds you're looking at. It doesn't matter who actually set the plan in motion. It does, but it doesn't. You see, because all the parties that benefit are the winning parties. They're not the ones that ever get to stand trial. They get to dirty their hands on the backside without dirtying their hands in the action. Those are the masterminds. That is in turn why someone will say, you'll see some commenters say, oh, it will never be solved. Oh, why you supporting suspects? Oh, why? Because I'm objective, because I understand this. I clearly understand it, and it makes the most sense. So when you say, I can't believe it happened, I can believe it happened. I can even believe that there was some official motive to it happen. Do I know who did it? Not exactly. Do I have ideas? Of course. Is it 100%? We don't know. But one thing we can say is that there's clearly benefiting parties, beneficiaries, that didn't have to be written on the will, because I benefit business-wise in a corporate entity. If I made money off of you, I just made the most money off of you than I ever have, because you're gone, and you have people that were unaware of you, people that knew of you but did not know what you did, that literally gain profit off of your leaving this earth. Those are all prevalent factors. Excuse me. Excuse me. Can I help you? Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know he backed up. He parked and backed up. I'm like, okay, in a specific spot. So what is going on with us being so dismissive of other options? Why? That is why we're objective. Because there's nothing to outright say, look, he's responsible, he's responsible. But that is what investigators are doing because they don't want an uproar of them not solving a case. What's so hard to see about that? What's so hard to see? What's so hard to realize? That there are larger powers at work that try to destroy people. And of course, I have stories that I could tell you in my own right that have nothing to do with my social media dealings. And even instances I did in a mental investigation of other powers close to me that acted strangely with what happened to me. I could play that game. But in the end, what does it benefit? Who does it benefit? Because doesn't everyone pay the price for the choices they make? It doesn't matter if you scream, "Oh, I'm sorry," or you can pray, but God looks at your heart. If he knows your heart's bad and you're not doing anything to make things right, are you really forgiven just because you scream it out? And that's the problem. A lot of people, they can deal with everyone else, but they have issues dealing with people around them. You'll love one person and hate another. That is not the workings, and that is not the way. But shout out to Daylyt on VladTV giving his opinion. You know I got more coming. Donations in the description. Rock with the platform. Support the growth. And we're going to get into more things that are relevant to the subjects that we're discussing. More important factors, comments, situations. All rights reserved.